back here, 5 a.m. pour. This is what we got today. We got Tristan right here, Joe, Braxton on the tie wire, Kenny on the pump, and then I'll be doing whatever needs to be done throughout this process. All tool joints, one all the way up the middle is about 75 feet, and then across everyone is about 16 to 14 up here, 16 down here. S&S concrete, and we're using a 3/8 pump mix fiber mesh 3500 psi, rebar on 3-foot centers, number 3. The block was set first, not the full height, and that's crucial because it makes it so much easier to pour your concrete and run your pull tools. When you just first course it, build the rest of the wall after the concrete's in. That's key stuff. All right, what you didn't see here is the actual wall first course going in, and that was all hand mix. Has 2 number 4s, 1/2-inch rebar running horizontal in the footing. Then he's got horizontal every looks like 32 inches or so vertical. Now this is pour day. We got 10 yards on that truck. S&S Materials brought it out, and we're hoping we're gonna make it. It looks like a lot more based on the depth. That's what I was thinking as we were pouring this out, because we're running, I think, about 5 inches, solid 5 all the way. And that's always better than 4. It'll cost you a little more money to go deep because the materials are pretty expensive as far as concrete goes. But it's worth paying it. If you're concerned about a lot of cracking and longevity, then go deep. The deeper the better. We have a good crew out here, so this is going to be pretty easy. And you have to have a good crew, and you have to have enough people, because you're not going to have a lot of time. We're running 100+ degrees already at 5:30 a.m. and we're expecting a temperature of about 120, humidity about 7 to 15%. So there's not going to be any bleed water. There's one little spot in the grid I seen a sag in. Found a rock, threw it under there. But these chairs are nice. The chairs that we're using here, they're from Home Depot online. They're a lot less money than the concrete dobies, and they work better. And what they can do is they interlock the intersections of the rebar, so you don't have to tie those spots where you put the chairs. That saves you a few ties. I'll put a link in the description on those chairs from Home Depot in case you want to get some. It beats dobies all day long because they're less than half price. Here's my second pass on the bull float right here. I've got 3 poles attached, but I can't come all the way back with 3 poles because I'll hit the house behind me and pop the pole through a window. So I'll do half, and then I'll break a pole and then I'll do the other half. So that's a magnesium bull float, and that helps in these type of conditions. You want to seal early. You're not concerned about trapping bleed water in this type of an environment. You really want to try to retain it. So we'll be bull floating, and we'll be Fresnoing, joining as quickly as possible. Kenny laying out the joint pattern. He's cutting it with his 6-footer. Tristan's following him up with the joiner. That's an Arizona joiner, really nice. You don't need a straight edge, ever, when you have room to run poles. Unless you're an amateur, then you need a straight edge. Now take a look at that rebar protection on those verticals. And that's all you need in this particular scenario, because what you're going for really is cuts on your arms, pushing your tools through in between those verticals, and that'll do the trick for that. It's not going to protect you from impalement if you were to fall from a second story or something like that, but it will do what it's meant to do in this particular scenario, because we don't have a second story. No one's falling down on those. So basically you've got what it needs. There's Joe laying out the next joint going up the driveway. Tristan's trying to clean up around that box out around all your utilities. And Kenny's on the joint here. Now this pole joints that we're going to be doing is going to stop pretty much at the front of that garage. That way we'll be matching that driveway real nice. But beyond that, we're going to saw cut the lengthwise right through here, because we can't get our pole tools all the way up there. So we'll come back in 2 to 3 hours after we get done brooming here and run a soft cut, make a quick cut down the middle. Here's your funny trowel. Nice thing about this particular setup, without the wall being there, you can do everything from the poles. No need to get out there. Because it's a broom finish, even if you went out there on your knee board, when you put the broom on it, it's going to look the same as if you broomed it. No one's going to know that you just funny troweled this and you broomed it versus knee boarding it and brooming it. The finish is going to be exactly the same. We did make it with 10 yards. We ran it out. It basically ran out the entire load here. I think we had a couple shovelfuls left. Tristan's going to catch that wall. That's the one thing they haven't developed yet, is a tool that can run off of your poles and catch the wall nice, crisp, and clean. That's something that needs to be developed. Braxton and myself are on the funny trowels.
Just right, huh?
Tristan's catching the wall. This most like, yep, that's my final pass. Final pass on the funny trowel. Kenny's behind me on the broom. This one area along the block wall in the rear, the first part we started pouring is the last part to get broomed, because it's a shaded area. There's a little touch of it. Little trowel mark right there just disappeared.
Oh yeah, the Midas touch. Don't be afraid to go back and lay it down again if you don't like the way the broom looks.
Yep.
There's no fear in concrete. One of our presidents said it best. I believe it was Eisenhower. There's nothing to fear but fear itself.
Those blocks are nice. You don't have a head joint on those. They interlock all the way up. Not very good for retaining, but they're ideal for this. Here's the curing compound going on. And that's crucial when you're running, 120 degrees, 5 to 8% humidity. Get the curing compound on there quick and keep it wet. Keep it wet for 3 to 4 days, every hour on the hour. And then you have a pretty decent slab. That's the final area that got broomed and cured right there. Here's Kenny starting the watering process already. Anyway, thank you for watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button. That way you'll be notified as soon as I pop the new video. Have a good one.
Odell, complete, concrete. Odell, complete, concrete.